Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video. I have some interesting numismatic history for you all today on the coinage of King Stephen. Now I was lucky enough to receive this coin from the newly announced Essex Coins Auctions, a brand new auction site with some competitive rates and home to some rare and wonderful coins and artifacts. And now that I'm on board working for the auction, if you ever need any help, you want to sell some coins, or you need any more information on coins in the auctions, do feel free to send me some questions and I'll do my best to help you. So I was lucky enough to receive through the post my very first King Stephen penny from a very interesting period of English history. It is very well known that the English coinage, unified in the late 10th century under the royal control, fractured into a series of official, irregular and baronial types during the reign of King Stephen. This was caused by the arrival from Normandy in 1139 of Henry I's daughter Matilda and her half-brother Earl Robert of Gloucester, which precipitated a civil war that lasted until 1153. Now, Stephen inherited a strong, centralised and long-established monetary system from Henry I. The late Anglo-Saxon kings from Athelstan onwards enshrined in law that only officially struck royal coins were to circulate within the territories under their control, and they ensured that imported foreign coin would be converted into English coin at the mints. King Edgar's reform of the coinage in 973 saw a uniform design for all English coins. The obverse showed a standardised portrait of the king with his name around the circumference, with the reverse displaying the name of the moneyer and the name of the mint. These designs were changed every few years, and there were to be over 50 changes of type between 973 and 1135. Henry I reduced the number of mints from 53 to 21 in 1125, and it appeared that he had also decided to abandon the system of regular coin issues in favour of a fixed coin type in that year. To assist the king in his control of the coinage, moneyers were responsible for running the mints. In 1153 to 1158, there were approximately 100 moneyers across the kingdom striking Stephen's Type 7 coinage, so there is no shortage of varieties to collect in this series. So let's have a look at the coin we have today. This is a Type 2 Stephen penny, known as the Voided Cross and Stars penny by the design on the reverse. The obverse design displays a king facing left holding scepter, and the reverse displays a voided cross with stars in quarters, surrounded by a legend reading the moneyer's name, Alpine, at the Pevensey Mint. Just like the coins of his predecessor and successor, Stephen's coinage was in pretty poor state, especially as the civil war with Empress Matilda matured. Stephen issued 4 official coinages during his 19-year reign, types 1, 2, 6 and 7. They account for about 90% of all known coins of the period, and around 73% of all single finds. Type 1 was Stephen's first official coinage, probably struck as early as 1136. When in power, Stephen reopened many of the mints that Henry I had closed, along with opening 6 new ones, probably to legitimise his kingship in an uncertain political atmosphere through the royal prerogative of minting and to buy the loyalty of the earls and boroughs by allowing them to generate local profits once more. Type 2 circulated between 1145 and 1150, and it represents around 10% of the single find evidence. However, just 17 mints are known to have struck this issue compared with the 44 of Type 1. The locations of the mint that struck Type 2 were all in the south and east of England, a vast contraction in the number of mints in the minting area. Type 6, which was issued from approximately 1150 to 1154, and accounts for about 8% of all single find evidence, was struck at just 21 mints. And like Type 2, it was only struck in the south and east of England. This large difference between the minting areas of Type 2 and 6 compared to that of Type 1 reinforces the documentary evidence that Stephen's government had lost central administrative control of the country by the mid-1140s. Type 7, which ran from 1153 to 1158, accounts for 15% of all single find corpus and was the final official type to be struck during his reign. It was a national issue, agreed during the negotiations of the Treaty of Westminster in 1153 that ended the Civil War, and it was issued from a similar range of mints in Type 1. While Stephen issued official types throughout his reign, the middle years saw a vast reduction in his minting area. The Angevins had clearly usurped the king's minting prerogative in the west in an attempt to legitimise their authority. In the Midlands and the north, various issues were struck in reaction to the competing complaints to the throne, and because it seemed that communications between Stephen and the Midlands had been weakened. Some barons even seem to have enjoyed this confusion. As the Civil War continued into the late 1140s and early 1150s, the hoards and single finds become more confined to the areas where the coins were struck. This may suggest that either the violence in England prevented people from travelling beyond their own localities, or that the coins being culled for their silver and for political reasons. This localised pattern may have even represented a combination of both positions, and if some people were resistant to using coins with non-royal iconography, this would have exacerbated the situation further. Coins were a regular part of daily life in Anglo-Saxon and Norman periods for practically everybody in society, high and low, from payments of taxes, rents and fines to regular commercial transactions, such as for land and on items of conspicuous consumption. The ambiguity of coins therefore made controlling their supply and images upon them either a key propaganda tool or a way of maintaining order in local economies. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video, seeing a very uncommonly seen coin of King Stephen, of which is a first for me here on the channel. I hope to acquire one in the next year or so be sure to watch this space. Thank you all for your continued support, and as always, keep collecting.